I'm going to build a Bigfoot for my motorcycle side stand. But let me make it clear right from the start, this is just for fun and entertainment. It'd be way easier to buy one from the internet. They're really not that expensive. And of course everyone knows that buying one is way better than building it yourself. Anyway, as this is a backyard build, not some sort of CAD/CAM type process, I use a piece of paper and draw a bit of an outline that I think will be about the size of the foot that I want. This foot's going to have 3 layers. There's going to be one layer that surrounds the foot and another layer on the bottom. So the foot goes into these 2 layers, and then there'll be another one on top of that that holds it all together and holds it on the side stand itself. So again, I use the technical process of working out what the top piece is going to look like, and then give it a test fit. That'll probably do. And there's going to be 4 screws that hold it all together. This is one of the few technical devices that I own. Vernier calipers are really quite handy. I'd like to know how thick that foot is, and I find that it's about 4.5mm, because I'll need to have a bit of material of about that. Well, I've got some 4mm plate, and I reckon that'll do the job. So now it's just a matter of transferring my bits of paper onto a bit of aluminium, and then cutting it out on the bandsaw. Okay, that's the middle layer done. Now to give it a bit of a clean up on the sander, and I'll use this as the template for the bottom layer. Now for the bottom layer. I've got a little bit of checker plate, which is 3mm, so I'll use that for the foot and just draw around it with my middle piece. And again, just cut that out on the bandsaw. Because I can, I'm going to weld the middle piece and the bottom piece together. This isn't essential, but it just makes it easier when I'm drilling the holes and tapping for the screws, etc. And it probably makes it a little bit neater job as well. But this step could be just missed. Anyway, I'll chamfer the edges so that I can get some weld down into the cracks. So now it's time for a bit of welding action. Now I've got the middle piece and the bottom piece together, it's time for a test fit, and I find that I need to grind it down by about the black line that I've just marked. Pooh and wee, oh well, I guess I'm not perfect. A bit of Dremel action will do the trick. Ew! With it speeded up, it sounds like the dentist. Nasty. Okay, that was easy. Let's test it again, see if it fits this time. Yep. That'll do the job. Nice. Now it's time for the top layer. This is the layer that holds the foot onto the side stand. I've got some 3mm sheet for this. So it's just the same process again. draw around the pattern, and then cut it out on the bandsaw. What could be easier? Well, buying it, of course, would be much easier. But let's face it, buying stuff is no fun. Building it myself gives me that lovely, nice, warm feeling. Or did I just wet myself? Cutting the inside shape with the bandsaw doesn't leave it real smooth, so a bit more Dremel action just tidies it up a bit. And then a finish off with some sandpaper. Time for the last step. Drilling the holes and tapping the threads. I've got 4 countersunk head screws that I'm going to use for this job, and they're an M5, just in case you're interested. By consulting my technical sheet here, I find that for an M5 I need a 4.2mm hole. I'll drill all 3 layers with the 4.2, and then I'll drill a clearance hole for the top layer. So now it's time for the clearance hole just in the top layer. I've had a bit of a guess here, so let's just check. Yep, that'll do me nicely. And now to countersink those holes. And test. Yep, that looks good. The last step is to tap the holes for a 5mm thread in those bottom 2 layers. Always good to have lubrication if you're going to screw anything. With all 4 threads tapped, it's time to put it all together. Make sure it fits. With all the pieces put together, I just give it a final sand so all the edges line up perfectly. Almost like a proper job. And now for the exciting part, final assembly. I'm using some blue Loctite to make sure those screws don't come loose. You'll remember that side stand foot was 4.5mm thick, but the material the foot's fitting into was only 4mm thick. This extra 0.5mm means that the top layer will hold that big foot down nice and tight, and the aluminium will bend to suit so that it fits perfectly around the edges. Time for the final test. What does it look like when it's up next to the bike? Not too bad, but let's have a look when the centre stands up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's pretty much out of the way there. And with the side stand down, it sits nice and flat. Another little fun project completed, and that warm feeling again. But like I said, if I was you, I'd just go out and buy one if you really want a big foot.